What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Willie Behind the Wheel. In today's episode, I'm replacing my fuel pump. I currently have a AEM E85 ethanol fuel pump, and I'm replacing it with a regular AEM fuel pump. No longer on E85, and I'm pretty much switching around like the fuel filter, the fuel pump, and I'm also gonna send my injectors out for cleaning and before I go back on the dyno. So these are pretty much like the preventative maintenances that I want to do before getting the car back on the dyno. Not that there's anything wrong with my E85 pump, but I did have issues a few months ago with my engine drying out, so I'd rather replace the fuel pump, the fuel filter, and this is actually a stock OEM replacement, high flow AEM filter. So imagine if you have the 90s fuel filter in there from the original from the 90s. Imagine just how much stuff is in there from just over the years of buildup. So you know, who knows what's in there, you know, especially if you're racing these cars every weekend on the street or on the drag strip, and you're having to replace your fuel filter, which is very important. I mean, just, you know, even if you have like a 90s older Civic, you know, that was 1990. We're in 2020. So imagine, you know, how old that is. You know, it's well over 30 years old. So it's, you know, 30 years old. And so I also bought this fuel filter. Actually, it's the filter that goes for the fuel pump. I bought this at AutoZone. They're pretty cheap, under 10 bucks. You get this because the AEM high flow comes with this little one right here. So, you know, look at the difference. You know, this isn't gonna reach. And if some people did end up putting this in their car, a lot of times they're just gonna have issues with fuel flow through their fuel pump. So, I mean, look at the differences. Big difference. Big difference. So, you know, all you gotta do is put this one to the side and grab yourself one of these from AutoZone under, I don't know, under 10 bucks. You grab one of these. You put it to your new pump when you drop it in the tank. So, yeah. So I'm gonna be pulling out the factory fuel filter now, and I'm gonna be pulling out the factory fuel pump. If you're new to the channel, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. If you like what you see, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. And if you haven't, hit me up for Willie Behind the Wheel stickers, 2 for $4. Hit me up. I still have plenty of stickers available, and free shipping. Just DM me, and you know, follow me on Facebook, Instagram. So yeah, so I'm gonna get to work now. I'm gonna pull out the other fuel pump, and I'm gonna pull out the stock fuel filter and replace it with this AEM high flow. Alright guys, so I pulled the stock fuel filter that's in the engine bay, which is usually bolted to this piece here. It's usually bolted onto this. I unbolted it. Here it is. So this is the factory original from what I can see. And yeah, this thing's pretty old. So this fuel filter, imagine how it looks inside. And we're replacing it with the AEM replacement and high flow. So we're gonna see if it fits. We might have to do some improvising a little bit, but let's see how it fits. It's a little bit of a gap, so I might have to do a little bit of improvising to get it to fit right. But this is the AEM. This is pretty much bolt on. I might have to cut or or just make some adjustments here on kind of like getting it to fit a little tighter, so that way there's not that much wiggle room in there. But yeah, this is how the AEM is gonna look once it's on there. All right, ladies and gentlemen, so I did a little bit of improvising with this piece just to get this to fit more snug. So what I did was I cut off a piece of it. I don't know if you guys can see it. I cut a piece off right there where it bolted to, where it bolted onto this. I cut a piece off, and what I did was, I cut the piece off, I bent this, and I drilled a hole through it to fit the 10 millimeter. So boom, fits perfect. So now when I go to bolt it to the stock holder, it'll fit. So it won't be Alright, ladies and gentlemen, so this is what the new one looks like. New AEM with the OEM bracket. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to slowly bend the fuel line that's on there now. I'm going to slowly bend it so it plugs into here, screws into here, and then the top one to here. And I'm going to go do that now, and I'll show you guys how it looks once it's done. Alright guys, so there you have it. That's the new AEM fuel filter. I had to move it over to the left a little bit because the original line from the factory on the bottom is I don't want to break it or kink it too much or bend it too much, just to avoid breaking it, but I had to move it over to the left a little bit. But I mean, it's pretty much flush with the firewall, and I did have like an aftermarket fuel line running to the rail. But yeah, so that's pretty much what it looks like. That's all said and done. It's a little crooked, but no big deal. So that's running to the engine. I already checked it, no fuel leaks, which is good. If you want, you can use a little bit of Teflon tape on the fittings, but other than that, that's what it looks like. So there you have it. All right, ladies and gentlemen, so here we have I took out the fuel pump hanger. Here's the fuel pump right here, leaking fuel everywhere. So this is the E85 ethanol fuel pump that I had put in here a while back. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take it off the hanger, and I'm gonna swap it out for the new AEM fuel pump that I bought. This is a 340 at 40 psi, and I believe the AEM fuel pump is I think it's the same. No, this is actually a 320. So I'm actually upgrading from a 320 to a 340 LPH. This one's at 43 psi. This one's at 40 psi. So this one's probably gonna give it a little more, just a little bit more fuel. But yeah, I'm gonna swap this out for this one, and I'll catch you guys in a minute. Alright guys, so I took out the fuel pump, the AEM fuel pump for the E85. This is the flex fuel. As you can see, it's green and black. This one's a 320 LPH, and this thing worked ever since I started building the car. This was pretty much the first fuel pump I put in there. So it's lasted me well over 5 years, and then now I have another AEM. This one's the 340 LPH, the all black one, and this one's, you know, I'm expecting for it to last me, you know, until I replace it or I decide to do like an external fuel pump or something like that. But you know, for now, I just want to make sure that all the fuel components are good. I'm no longer running E85, so I decided to go with a different AEM fuel pump. They're really good pumps, so I wouldn't, you know, in my opinion, they're pretty good pumps. You know, never failed me. So, but you know, I'm actually going with 93 pump gas now, so that's why I decided to change it, to switch things up. So, but yeah, you know, just take your time installing it. So I'm gonna go ahead and throw this thing back in it. And remember to buy one of these from AutoZone. You don't want to put the small one that it comes with. You want to get a big one, get the big strainer. It's just a lot better for the fuel. So yeah, so this is pretty much it. So I'm gonna go ahead and install this. Now they sell hangers. This hanger is pretty dirty. I mean, I could probably clean it up with brake cleaner, but it's like rusty and whatever. So, but also these hangers, if your hanger needs replacement, they're not too expensive to replace. But yeah, see you guys in a minute. All right, guys. So I just finished installing the fuel pump, and there's no leaks. Make sure that when you install the hanger and you bolt everything down and everything, all the clamps and the main bolt and all that stuff, make sure that once you install everything, before you put the cover on, make sure that there's no leaks. Hit the key switch, make sure the fuel pump is turning on and all that. And so this is the 5 or 6 year mark with this fuel pump. This one is from, you know, this AEM fuel pump it's done its job over the years, so I can't complain. You know, this fuel pump is pretty good. AEM, good job AEM. It's lasted me for as long as it did, and it was time for me to switch it out. So, and just finished replacing this stock fuel filter. So guys, remember that if you're trying to race and you're trying to make power, this could be restricting you from fuel, especially when you're on the dyno. This is something that I just pretty much overlooked over the years and just never did anything about it. But I'm pretty sure there's a lot of gunk in here from the past years, you know, the last over 20-30 years. So, you know, so if you plan on, you know, being serious about racing your car, make sure that you replace all these necessary components, because you know, it's just, once it's dyno day, this is when it matters, you know. When the tuner is asking for more fuel, you want to have, you know, you want to make sure that you have everything up to date, like your fuel filter, your fuel pump, injectors, everything is, you know, that way there's no question about any fuel delivery issues on dyno day. So, but yeah, this is, you know, just for finish, you know, so this is already in there. So I'm gonna go ahead and start up the car and pretty much wake up the neighbors a little bit. It's getting pretty late, so I'm just gonna crank it over and turn it on, let it run for a little bit just to make sure that it's running, and then I'm gonna shut it off real quick. shut it off. I don't want to piss off my neighbors. So there you have it. AEM fuel filter and fuel pump installed. Remember guys, take your time. Take your time installing it. Make sure that there's no fuel leaks. That way your car doesn't burn down while you're driving. And yeah, just know that it's not going to fit exact. You might have to make some necessary adjustments to make it fit. But just take your time and, you know, once it's in there, it's going to last for a while. I mean, it lasted me over 5 years, that single fuel pump. So I'm no longer running E85, I'm running 93 pump gas. The reason why is because I've always had to drive 30 minutes to go get E85. And it's the same case before up in Mass, and it happens to be the same case now in over here in Florida. The nearest E85 pump from me is about 30 minutes away. So, you know, over 5 years of pretty much hunting for E85, and it's just been a pain to get it. So I just rather go with 93 pump. If I ever take the car out to the street, at least I could fuel up anywhere. So I'm gonna make the necessary adjustments as far as like the nitro shot and stuff like that, just to see. I might bring it down a little bit just to see what the car does, and if I see that there's enough for more nitrous, then I'll bring it back up. I'm currently on the 200 shot, but if I have to bring it down to about 150 shot, and then I'll see what I have for wiggle room, and if I can bring it up, then I'll bring it up to back up to a 200 shot. But we will see. We'll see on the dyno. So I have to get my injectors cleaned, and once I get those back, we should be ready to rock and roll. So I'll keep you guys posted on that. And I also have another video. I have some parts coming in the mail, so I'm going to be getting a brand new NRG quick release hub setup and steering wheel. So stay tuned for that video, which I will have posted probably in about a week or so. And so yeah guys, stay safe out there. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. I'll catch you guys in the next one.